Shannon Sharpe, throughout his entire career, made a total of $22 million. So you mean to tell me that this OnlyFans girl potentially made as much as he made in his NFL Hall of Fame career, where he won 3 Super Bowls in one settlement? Oh my. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Let's get into it. Let's see right here. So first story at the docket, we got Shannon Sharpe out at ESPN after settling sex assault suit. Man, oh man. Shannon Sharpe, y'all. Shannon Sharpe got absolutely finessed, y'all. He got absolutely finessed. But we'll get into this here. It was announced yesterday that Shannon Sharpe was fired from ESPN after settling his sexual assault case. If y'all didn't know, he was doing some wild shit with a young girl. I think she was like 21 years old, some 21-year-old OnlyFans model. And dude has to pay, man. So let's get into it right now, man. Top of the story. Shannon Sharpe out at ESPN after settling sex assault suit. Football Hall of Famer broadcaster Shannon Sharpe won't return to ESPN after he settled a lawsuit accusing him of rape. Sharpe, a tight end and prominent sports commentator, settled a suit with his former girlfriend. The funny part, they put girlfriend in there. Bro, this was not his girlfriend, dog. It was just some random girl he was dealing with. Sharpe, a tight end, a prominent sports commentator, settled a suit with the former girlfriend, Funny, as she claimed he raped her during their relationship. Crazy accusation. Okay. The woman's attorney, Tony Busby, said that in the settlement, both sides acknowledge a long-term consensual and tumultuous relationship. This is lawyer speak for they were both together. They both had ups and downs. It is what it is. Despite the resolution clearing Shannon Sharpe of sexual assault allegations, ESPN has decided against bringing him back after he stepped away in April due to the suit, The Athletic reports. Sharpe had publicly said that he expected to return to the worldwide leader by the start of NFL training camp, a deadline that passed earlier this month. ESPN declined to comment on The Athletic, and Sharpe hasn't publicly commented, though he continues to promote his podcasts, Club Shay Shay and Nightcap, on social media. Man, I gotta say, man, this is an absolute L. Absolute L, man. I ain't gonna lie. I mean,
oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
Absolute L, man. And for any of y'all who watch Club Shay Shay or seen any of the episodes or any of the interviews that he actually does, it's funny because if you go back a couple months ago, Monique, who we had on as a guest, and that was a pretty controversial interview as well too. Monique actually talked this guy down and said, "Listen, man, you got to stop dealing with them young girls. You got to get yourself a nice old lady, somebody your age, you know what I mean, who can take care of you." And that was, we didn't know at the time, but that was complete foreshadowing, because this guy has got himself in a situation where it's reported that he has to shell out 20 M's, anywhere up to 20 M's for this situation here. And listen, man, everybody has their own fantasy desires, and as long as there's willing consensual participants, it's fine, you know what I mean? But when you are like 50 something years old dealing with the 21-year-old who doesn't really like you, I remember there was a post that came out, something along the lines, like a leaked text between these two, and she was saying something along the lines of, "Oh, you got to pay $20,000 for each ass cheek, or each ass cheek," something crazy like that. I'm like, bro, when you already see this girl talking about money off the bat, bro, you already know you're gonna get finessed. So talking about $20,000 per ass cheek, boy, if you don't get the hell out of here, ridiculous. But yeah, man. So that's the sexual assault there. There's some more stuff at ESPN here. So Shannon Sharpe out, and you got to understand from Shannon Sharpe's perspective, for him, he wants to settle the case as quickly as possible, make sure that the allegations don't get too far, so that it doesn't actually go to trial, so that some of the details of what he might have texted come out. Because from what we understand, they were into like some sexual race play type shit, right? And obviously, in a situation like that, you're probably saying some wild shit through text, behind the scenes. You know, it's race play, whatever like that. You know, I mean, I don't do it. I'm not into that shit. I don't deal with the snow bunnies. You know what I mean? I don't play in the snow, so I don't really know. I'm not Shannon Sharpe. You know what I mean? For me, it's not hailing outside. But for this dude, that's what he was into. You know what I mean? So he wants to get some petite, young, college age white girl to deal with, and this is the result of this. But essentially, what he was trying to do was settle the case before it came out, so that he could get back to work, back to ESPN, continue making the money, because it was speculated that even before this entire thing happened, that Shannon Sharpe was due to sign a $100 million contract Now, I'm not sure whether that was at ESPN or whether that was through his Club Shay Shay podcast or whether that was through his other podcast that he has with Chad Ochocinco. But he was due for $100 million deal somewhere, and he was about to get a huge bag. So for him, in the short term, I think he was thinking, let's settle the suit, let's get it out the way. We'll tighten up afterwards, and then we can get the money on the back end. We can get back to ESPN in time for NFL season. But ESPN ends up letting him go. And if y'all didn't know, Shannon Sharpe is the key analyst for the NFL season. Obviously, he's a Hall of Famer, 3-time NFL champion. So he's their key guy, key personality on First Take for NFL. Obviously, he covers LeBron too, and he's like a stout LeBron glazer. He this guy absolutely loves LeBron. Got 3,000 for LeBron, all that shit. But for him, it was just try to close his case off as soon as possible. If we have to pay her 10 to 20 M's, we'll do that because we're expecting to make more money on the back end. So that was Shannon Sharpe and his lawyer strategy. Shannon Sharpe's days at ESPN are over. The network has cut ties with the Pro Football Hall of Famer less than 2 weeks after settling a rape case. And from ESPN's perspective, they also, and this is noteworthy as well too, they also just shelled out a bunch of money for Stephen A. Smith. ESPN, I think, signed Stephen A. Smith to like a 5-year, $125 million or $120 million contract on ESPN, which is a wild amount of money. Shout out to Stephen A. Smith for finessing ESPN. But when you're shelling out that type of money for somebody, you want to make sure that this person's image is as clean as possible. So for Disney, if y'all don't know, Disney owns ESPN. For them to cut ties with Shannon Sharpe, it's not only to save them the money on the front end and the back end, but it's also to make sure that we don't get caught up in any scandals, because y'all know Disney, bro. They're all about that clean image. They're all about having a tight ship, and they do not want anything that's going to affect the bottom line or the money. So if they're going to give you $100 million, they want to make sure that they get a return on that investment and that you are squeaky clean. So they probably found out through the grapevine that not only was Shannon Sharpe dealing with this girl, but that there's probably other girls that he was dealing with similar to this. So they probably, once they heard about the details, they probably wanted no part of it, and they just decided, hey man, let's just cut ties. We'll figure it out with Stephen A. Smith, and we'll try to find someone else to replace him. But another thing as well too, they have Cam Newton on ESPN as well too. So I think sometimes he shows up on First Take. So for them, they're probably weighing the options. Do we want to go with a guy who's potentially liable, potentially could get us in, the ESPN, the First Take brand wrapped up in some bullshit, or do we just go with Cam Newton? And Cam Newton, though he dresses like an imaginary friend, at least he doesn't have any scandals of this nature. You know what I mean? Y'all may like Cam Newton, dislike him, maybe think he has a good attitude, bad attitude, I don't know. But one thing you can't say about Cam Newton, at least at this point, is that he's had any sort of scandal like this with women. I think he has like mad baby mamas and shit like that. And obviously, like I said, he dresses like an imaginary friend or some shit like that. But outside of that, obviously Cam Newton is a pretty clean image overall. So there's nothing here about the actual amount of money. But after that, we had Shannon Sharpe, who actually went on his show, Nightcap. This is the show that he hosts with Chad Ochocinco, Chad Johnson. So Shannon Sharpe has 3 shows. He has Nightcap, he has Club Shay Shay, and obviously he was on First Take. So I think overall he'll be all right because he has his own independent platform already. Obviously, Club Shay Shay was huge after that Cat Williams interview. He has Nightcap as well too, which is really popular. So I think overall Shannon Sharpe will be all right. And this may be a blessing in disguise because it'll force him to have to build his platform independently. And, when you build your platform independently, that way you make more money, man, because you control everything. You don't have to split it with anyone else. So it'll be interesting. But he actually went on his podcast, Nightcap, and addressed the situation that happened with the settlement. So we're going to get into what he said, man. Let's get into it right here.
Started. Obviously, I'm sure everybody's heard the news by now that I will not be returning to ESPN. I found out this information a little earlier in the week, and really the only thing that I really ask is like, guys, could we wait until Monday? My brother's going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I really wanted to be about him, and I wanted to be about my family.
Damn, I completely forgot that. So if y'all don't know, Shannon Sharpe has an older brother. I forgot what his name is, man, but he was on pace. He played for the Green Bay Packers, and his older brother was on pace to have a Hall of Fame career in the NFL. But unfortunately, he got injured and had to retire early. But it was a big deal for Shannon Sharpe because his brother, years after he made it into the NFL Hall of Fame, finally got that jacket to be accepted into the NFL Hall of Fame. So it was an emotional moment for both of them. So him talking about this, he's essentially just saying, like, I didn't want what was going on with me to overshadow what was going on with my brother and him having, you know, one of the best moments of his life being accepted to the NFL Hall of Fame.
I know I said this coming out will overshadow everything that he's worked his entire life for. And unfortunately, you know, it didn't happen that way. And so, as I told him, as I profusely apologized to him earlier today, he said, bro, stop apologizing. You don't have to apologize. I'm your big bro. I'm going to love you regardless.
Should apologize for being a dumbass. I think you should apologize for being a dumbass. You got to move a little bit smarter, bro, especially when you got this level of money, man.
We all make mistakes. We've all, and he says, bro, I love you. So I'm done with this. You're done with it too. Move on. And I really enjoyed my time at ESPN. It gave me an opportunity to bring my audience that saw me really just grow. They saw me, you know, Lakers in 5, and they saw me say all these analogies that my grandparents gave me, and I was able to bring that to ESPN. So I'm very, very grateful for that. But I just wished, of all things, like I said, hey, they did what they felt they needed to do, and I'm at peace with that. But I just wish, guys, I
ain't gonna lie, them Lakers in 5 analogies are actually pretty hilarious. So those damn near turned into like one of the most popular memes ever.
This thing could have waited until Monday, because I hate the fact that I'm overshadowing my brother, the first 2 brothers in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And this is,
now that's a crazy feat. The first 2 brothers ever to be inducted in the NFL Hall of Fame. Let me actually double check what's Shannon Sharpe's brother's name. Shannon Sharpe brother, was it Sterling Sharpe? Yeah, Sterling Sharpe. Yeah, this guy right here. So these 2 right here, yeah. So these 2, it's crazy to have both brothers with that level of talent, but Shannon Sharpe, I think, was a tight end, and then Sterling Sharpe was a wide receiver on the Green Bay Packers. But yeah, to have 2 brothers in the NFL Hall of Fame is actually absolutely crazy, bro. 2 members of the same family. Like, I gotta figure out like a percentage calculator, but the odds of getting into the NFL alone are probably like 0.01%. So to have 2 family members, odds of making it to the NFL are probably 0.01%. The odds of making it to a Pro Bowl is probably even less than that. And to make it to become a Hall of Famer in the NFL, so to have 2 family members, 2 people from the same family, nonetheless brothers, a couple years apart, both get into the NFL Hall of Fame is nothing short of absolute phenomenal.
Is what the headline's going to be for the next couple of days. So, bro, again, I know you told me this, I don't have to apologize, but I'm going to do it one final time tonight, and I won't apologize again. I'm sorry that I upstaged you in this manner. You know, that was never my intent. You've been my hero. You've been my role model from as long as I can remember. And I apologize, and I thank all my fans for supporting me when I was at ESPN and every place that I've been, be it Club Shay Shay, Nightcap, Undisputed, ESPN. Thank you guys for your support.
So he addresses the firing. He essentially just says, he says apologizes to a brother again for making this about his situation instead of celebrating the fact that his brother got into the NFL Hall of Fame. And this should be a lesson for everybody, whether you are rich and successful or not, bruh. You got to move a lot smarter when you see certain signs that don't look right when you're dealing with somebody, whether you're male or female, whatever it is. Just keep it moving, bro. Especially when you got a lot of money, a lot of fame, and you have a lot to lose. When you are rich, famous, or whatever, bro, you should only be dealing with someone else who has just as much to lose as you. Obviously, there's going to be people you're attracted to who don't have a lot of stuff like that. But if that's the case and you're going to be dealing with someone like that on the regular, you need to employ the certain things to protect yourself, bro. You can't be moving naked, swimming in shark-infested waters, bro. You're going to get eaten up and you're going to get destroyed, bro. So he seems to be pretty apologetic. I expect Shannon Sharpe to be able to recover from this. I think at this point, his brand is already big enough. He has his own independent platforms. He'll be all right, bro. Like, he's already printing money with the platforms that he has. I mean, it does suck missing out on a bag like ESPN because the money that comes to that Disney money is just absolutely different, right? It's absolutely different. And that affords you, even if you are a multimillionaire, that affords you a different level of lifestyle, bro. Like, you seeing Stephen A. Smith with the $125 million contract over 5 years, and that comes with extra perks as well, too. So, just working for ESPN, Disney, it's a huge deal. It's huge for your brand, and it brings in a lot of advertising money and stuff like that. But this is, for everybody else, man, athlete, famous person, actor, whatever. I guess these days, streamer, bro, you have to move in a way to protect yourself. You can't be doing this goofy shit, man. You'll get bit in the ass. And to be quite honest, it seems like a lot of money. $20 million is a lot of money. Let's not kid ourselves. You know what I mean? And the funniest part about this is that a day after a day after the settlement, what you call it? What was it? OnlyFans girl, Shannon Sharpe. So this is her name. What? Gabrielle Zuniga? Gabriela Zuniga? What is she Spanish? Does that sound like a Spanish name? I don't even know what the hell that is. Anyways, Gabriela Zuniga, who accused Shannon Sharpe of sexual assault, settled a $50 million lawsuit, and they're reporting at least it's anywhere from $10 to $15 million, or let's say $5 to $20 million, something like that. Either way, it's enough that she's done with OnlyFans, bro. She's done e-thotting. She's not a thought no more. She's retired. She delivered. She's delivered. Woman known as a Jane Doe, blah, 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 blah. Over the weekend, she announced her retirement from the subscription-based platform since deleted Instagram post. And here's a post from Gabriela Zuniga. Today, I have decided to retire from OF. Thank you for the incredible support you've shown me over the past few years. Incredible support? Support? Who the fuck? Hey, this community has given me a life I could have never imagined. I'll be active on social media and have several new projects in the works that I can't wait to share. I'm sure those are some new surgeries. I'm truly excited for the next chapter. I love you all forever and ever. Heart. Now, this is wild, bro. A day after a $20 million settlement, she retired, bro. Peace. And the crazy part about this is that if she made $20 million, I believe she made just as much or close to Shannon Sharpe in his NFL career. Shannon Sharpe NFL career earnings. Let's see this shit right here. Let's see Shannon Sharpe's total career earnings. Oh my God. What is total career earnings, man? Career earnings. That is absolutely insane, bro. Shannon Sharpe throughout his entire career made a total of $22 million. So you mean to tell me that this OnlyFans girl potentially made as much as he made in his NFL Hall of Fame career, where he won 3 Super Bowls in one settlement? Oh my God. Damn! This girl made as much money as this guy made in his entire NFL career in one settlement, bruh. Gotta move smarter, man. You absolutely gotta move smarter. This is absolutely ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. But anyways, she announced that she's retired, man. So he inadvertently saved her, and she's retired, bro. I believe she's 21 years old. She'll be rich for the rest of her life. Obviously, she doesn't blow that money or do whatever dumb shit, you know what I mean? But shout out to Shannon Sharpe, man. Hopefully this is going to be a lesson. I mean, compared to what could have potentially happened, maybe that $20 million is, considered a small feat to pay or something like that. But Lord have mercy, man. That's a crazy amount of money.